Well guys, this is a Mystery Teachings research notes, and in this video I'm going to explain why Ophiuchus is the 13th sign. Now, just be warned, this will probably be something of more of an observation as well as me just tangenting off into different areas. So I just wanted to basically put out my thoughts as well as this information about Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, and put to rest all of the mystery and all of the disinformation that is often attached to knowledge that we have little understanding for. Now, for those that are just finding this information, the reason that I can actually say this is because I have done the research into the symbolism, and if you want to go and check my body of work, I actually recommend you do, because you will then have more of an understanding for what is being revealed here. And so with that information that we've been uncovering, and others who have also been learning this new language of symbolism and what the numbers and the codes actually equate to, we now understand that this is information about ourselves. This is our story about our divinity. And there are those amongst us that are more divine than others, because they were created closer to source. They are the first imprint of the macrocosmic man onto foundation in 96 divine fragments throughout 4 races: red, white, yellow, black, 24 divine ones in each race, 8 messiahs, 2 messiahs, male and female, within each of the 24 divine ones of each race. The first begotten son is the tribe of Dan, or Jesus, symbolically known in the Christian mythology, and this is because Jesus represents the first mental emanation of the divine mind reflected onto foundation, and then through that first mental reflection comes the other messiahs. But from that time on, all the messiahs are equal in power and wisdom and knowledge and divinity. It is just the process of emanation from the divine mind that puts the focus onto Jesus being the first begotten son. However, what's happened is Christianity has taken that and then basically used it to eliminate the greatness within mankind by eliminating all the other divine ones and just focusing on Jesus. And because there is this special consideration given to the fact that it is the tribe of Dan, Ketha, Jesus, that's the first emanation, they've been able to utilize this for their own agenda. Whereas in fact, Jesus represents all of the 96 fragments, as well as all of the divinity within mankind, because from those 96 is then reflected all else. And so the further away we come from source, from those 96, that first imprint of macrocosmic man onto foundation, and this is what Vitruvian man shows us also, the further away from this first imprint, the more watered down the memory is of the divinity within mankind. And so we can understand that when we see around us so many people that are lost and have forgotten who they are, really have become a subspecies, because they no longer carry any light within them, any memory. They are just a shadow. They are just They are just a skin with a shadow of a soul within them, because they really have forgotten everything else, and really it's only their mental activity that allows them to continue on in the environment, because they have no instinctive or any feelings of connection to anything around their environment. And this is why they feel nothing when they see animals that are being driven to extinction. This is why we see the fracking going out of control and people say nothing, is because the majority just don't have that connection anymore. It's been bred out of them. It has been just programmed out of them. And unfortunately, because we are all now then forced up into our mind, this is the program to keep us up in our mind, away from our heart. And when they give us anything to do with the heart, it's all this fake romance, hallmark stuff that's dished up by Hollywood. So nobody even really understands what heart is. And so they keep us away from the heart. And heart is really just instinctive. That's your just passion to do something, your drive that wants you to push harder in something. You bring that from your heart. And so you need that part of you as well. You need to live in that part of yourself. But they keep us up in the mind. And the mind is very powerful, and so that can compensate for the heart. But eventually, it will destroy that person, because they are really only existing in an illusion of who they think they are. They really have no understanding of themselves. So while they keep us up in that mental area and then program us, we do not have a chance in hell of remembering who we are unless we absolutely remove this programming. And that means coming at all information as though you are a blank canvas, and then when you see information, you say, why did this person come to this conclusion, and go and seek for yourself why that person came to that conclusion. And so everything that you then start to consciously process is in a truth that you have confirmed through your own heart, your own knowing, and your own connection with the divine, because it is within you. And this is what else happens when we move into our mental, is that we second guess information that does come from the heart. And normally we always know that first thing that we go against was always the right thing to do, or the right answer. How many times do we do that? We go to say it, but then we overthink it, and we don't, and then it turns out that it was right. And this is the heart speaking, and this is what I say, that the mind is really strong to overpower, and it's really easy to program the mind too. And so we really do have the odds against us. But anyway, I won't continue on, but I did just, have a bit of information to relay, because I haven't done a Mystery Teachings research notes for a while, and I just sit here and kind of contemplate all of the information that I do research and find. And so this gives me an opportunity to share this with you as well. But anyway, let's have a look at, why Ophiuchus is the 13th sign, and the information that connects this to the tribes of Israel and the 96 divine ones, which is, of course, what all of the information is about, because it is the most important aspect of mankind, is our divinity. And so, of course, this is, again, what they've tried to destroy. So if we look at the actual constellation of Ophiuchus, we see that he is situated with another constellation which is called serpents. Now what we're actually seeing here is the tribe of Reuben and the tribe of Dan in the serpent. Now, again, anyone just watching this video for the first time, and I'm not going to repeat this again, I'm just going to say this and then be done. For me to know that the serpent is the tribe of Dan and this is the tribe, you will need to go and watch all of my other previous videos so you understand why I know that the serpent symbolism is connected to the tribe of Dan and that this is actually factually correct information that can be researched through various other avenues. So when people hear me say that, I'm not just pulling what I think. All of this can be verified, but you'll need to go back and look at all of my information, not just look at this video and make your assessment of the information based on this video alone. If you're actually really interested in the information and you're not just here to have a look at something, but because you already know everything, just dismiss it and then actually leave a comment that's probably quite aggressive or abusive. But anyway, let's not go down there. Let's get back to this. So we know that the serpent is the tribe of Dan, as well as the apple can be seen as the tribe of Dan in symbolism. The sign of Scorpio is also the tribe of Dan in the Mazzaroth. And so with that understanding, we can see here that we've got a symbol attached now to the tribe of Dan, and we see a cross right at the end of serpent's tail. And then we have Reuben, man, okay? Tribe of Reuben stands for man, stands for Malkuth, the root, the foundation that brings down Ketha, okay, that brings down the first emanation into foundation, like the pillar, okay, that we always visualize when we see the cross. And we see that the cross, we've got the tribe of Dan at the top, and down the bottom, we've got the tribe of Reuben, okay, because this is the unchanging reflection of the divine mind into man. And that's how it's represented. And it's even how it's represented in the divine fragments of the creator, the macrocosmic man, onto foundation, because that's what the 96 divine ones are. They are macrocosmic man onto foundation, and they can be seen as individuals all carrying the creator within, but then together as part of a larger macrocosm on foundation as a complete man within the 96. We've got all four races counted for. We've got the male and female accounted for. We've got, you know, that aspect of, you know, the creator, every aspect of the creator is present in the 96 divine ones, the first imprint onto foundation. And so this is what this symbolizes, this first emanation, okay, onto foundation. And we see the cross. Now again, we can see the cross. Now I know this is sometimes equated to St. George and St. George's cross, but this is actually also the first begotten Son, tribe of Dan, Jesus, and we can even see another symbolism. Again, let the symbolism talk. We see Jesus here, and he is carrying the cross, okay, on the flag here. And then we see it down here as well. He's got the cross on the flag, okay, and this is the Rosarium Philosophorum, and it's basically the alchemical sequence of the bridal chamber between the divine male and divine female twin souls. And we can see at the end here we've got the female being crowned, and we've got Jesus, the male, coming out of what is symbolic of matter, okay, our tombs, our physical. This is the ethereal, the physical, the soul. He's got the halo and he's got the cross as well. Okay, so we know that the cross is connected to Jesus. We see the cross connected to serpents. We see the serpent connected to the tribe of Dan. and therefore. So we can just continue on with more of those confirmations as much as we want to go. Now, more information about how we know that Reuben is connected also here to Orion, who is Hercules. Now, in another part of the constellation, we've got Hercules. Hercules is symbolic for Orion, because Hercules also carries the club, and I've done a diagram in 2012 where I found this information when I was looking at all the mythology, because I did know that the constellations were telling a story of us, and I did know that they could not change the stars and the constellations, and they could not change the movement of time. That's one thing they could not manipulate. So if any information was going to be left to us, it would be in a way that could be unchanging. And so this is why we see it left to us in the way it has been. Attached to unchanging law, God's law, written in stone, sword in the stone, unchanging. Sword is God's law, God's truth into the stone doesn't change. And we see that we've got Hercules here, who is symbolic for Orion. He's slaying the Hydra, okay, the winter of mankind, the winter of man's soul, the beast that rises when the winter descends upon mankind's soul, and the beast that must be slayed, and the beast that Zeus does slay. And vice versa, it's in all the mythology. And then we go down here and we actually see that we've got Zeus here with the club, because we know Orion also holds the club. We know Zeus is Orion, so that's why it gives us another indication that Hercules is another aspect of Zeus, of Orion. And then we see here we have his nephew, okay, Iolus, or Ophiuchus. Very interesting. And so if we translate that up to the constellations, we see that Hercules is right next to Ophiuchus. And so Hercules, Orion, Reuben, Serpens, Orion, Kether. Serpens is the tribe of Dan, Kether as well. Okay, so we see some more connections there as well. So it just continues on. Now, another thing with the 13th sign, and there's all this confusion about, is it the 12th, is it the 13th? Well, think about the baker's dozen. Is it 12? Is it 13? Okay, think about the tribes of Israel. Is it 12? Is it 13? Remember, once again, those that are following this information will know this is the imprint, the divine imprint that never changes, that's there, that's not there. It's just the shadow of the divine imprint that is always present onto foundation. It's like God's hand always on the top of Gaia and never changing. That is how the divine, the first divine messiahs are imprinted onto foundation. And so this is why we see that it's counted as 12 and it's counted as 13, because they are there regardless. And this is even where we see that the tree is left in the garden for them, the 5 trees, okay? So it's there regardless of lower consciousness or higher consciousness, winter or summer. And this is what we can look at lower and higher consciousness as I've said, the seasons of the galactic light, the waxing and waning of the galactic light that affects our divinity, that affects our memory of who we are, that affects our greatness, that not only us, but everything, every bit of creation, it's all connected to it. And there's much larger cycles. As I always say, we are just the little frogs at the bottom of the pond, and we need to come up to the top of the pond and understand that we are part of a much larger thing, much larger scheme, much larger cycle that's been hidden from us. They just want to keep us in these little boxes, never knowing, always ignorant to who we are, looking outside of ourselves, looking at the Pleiades, that's where I come from, or oh, I'm over here from this one over here because I don't come from this place, I'm from somewhere else, I'm special in that way that I come from somewhere else, or I just don't want to attach myself to this place, it's so negative, and, you know, look elsewhere, look outside. This is the programming, guys. And it sounds so attractive. That's the problem. They give us the story that's so attractive to us. They give us the best stories that are so attractive to us. And really, the greatness of us is the best story. It just takes a little bit of work because we have to go through the heart. We have to undo all of our damage, all of our programming, all of the manipulations and the parts of ourselves that have been attached to that program that we have to let go of as well. So it's not easy. It's not easy. It requires a person to look deeply within themselves to come to truth. Because truth isn't about being popular or saying what people like. Truth is about truth alone and saying all truth at all times for the good of the all. Because when we help each other to illuminate, we illuminate ourselves. It's this feedback system that happens. This is why I continually will put out this information. And this is why I continually know that people, even though there are not many, contact me with the realizations of who they are after they find my information. And that alone tells me that there are people lighting up out there. And so the more this information finds an understanding, the more people illuminate with the understanding of who they are and the power that brings you. Because, you know, when you understand who you are and you understand death's an illusion and you're just, you know, a important facet of a larger scheme of everything, then they have no power over you anymore. They really don't. Death has no power over you anymore because your connection is with creation, not with them and not with their words. And so that's all I hope my information does, is just help people, you know, piece together the remnants of what they've got inside them and have an understanding for it, because that's basically what a lot of people write to me when I do get messages, is that I already knew this. I knew this my whole life. You've said everything I've known. And so that's what knowledge is, and that's what wisdom is. And wisdom is identifying knowledge when it crosses your path, not dismissing it because you already know everything. Going and seeking information and making it understand, making it be in a way that you understand it, not just dismissing it if you don't understand it, seeking it until you do, and wanting to understand. That's the biggest and most important thing I think that we can all have, is wanting to know. It's got to be wanting to know. Wanting to be more than what they've told us. Wanting to see more of all of us than just what they've given us. And wanting that to the point of it driving you to understand everything that is unfolding around us at the moment, including who we are. That deeper understanding and that deeper realization. And this is why those people that just consume TV and all the baubles and the bullshit and whatever's dished out by the program just don't get this information. I'm talking another language. There's just no way in hell that they can understand anything that's being relayed here. And that's not my problem, unfortunately, for them. I or nobody is responsible for their path, only them. And that's what I had to understand. I think a lot of us do have to come to that understanding that you aren't responsible for others and for their dismissal of information, even if it's family and friends. You really aren't. You're just responsible for doing the best for yourself, the best for God, and the best for the all, because that's what motivates you always, the good of the all. And that's what you set your moral compass to. You can't go wrong. You don't need to go and listen to some preacher tell you how to be a good person. It's already in you how to be a good person. Well, guys, I've certainly made up for my lack of Mystery Teachings videos, and I will leave it here for now. But there you go. That's pretty much why Ophiuchus is the 13th sign. I've given you enough info here that you can go and do more research if you want more confirmation, but that's pretty much the bones of it. And that's where I'll leave it. And so, as always, peace